Hello everybody, this is Sci-Fi Junk yet again on this lovely, wonderful Wednesday afternoon. Um, Now, yesterday, I made a post on Facebook and Twitter that I would not be streaming uh, maybe until sometime next week. Actually, it kind of looks like it might be sometime not sometime next week, but maybe sometime the week after next. Anyway, let me show you why that might be, why I'm doing that. You see that lovely, wonderful blue screen? You see that lovely, wonderful desktop there? Now, there's a reason why that desktop has that blue screen. Plus, that desktop, plus that pile of desktops over there actually came from my brother. Now, these desktops actually came from Hudiburg. My brother happens to know that when it comes to computers and everything else, that he tries to give me computers or desktops and thinks that I could actually do some stuff with them, and I actually can, so it's not a big deal. Not a big deal, not a bad deal or anything like that. And matter of fact, that one desktop there that has no desktops on top of it has a problem that I haven't determined yet. I don't know if it's maybe the power supply is bad, or if the CPU needs to be reseated. But even if it needs to be reseated, I don't have the thermal compound for it. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's kind of not working right now. Anyway, the reason why the desktop that actually has the monitor attached, which is my second monitor, which is the reason why I can't stream until after that gets done. But the reason why that has a blue screen on it is not because it's doing a Microsoft blue screen of death. It's because it's running DBAN, which stands for Darren's Boot and Nuke, which means I am actually wiping the hard drive. I shouldn't have to wipe the hard drive. And this is not the first time I had to wipe the hard drive. See, my brother, until recently, had been working for car dealerships, bouncing between car dealerships. He actually used to work for Firestone there in Oklahoma City too. And as I said, he gets desktops that way. But as I said, this is not the first time. Matter of fact, this happens every time he gets me computers from dealerships. I think the first, if I'm not mistaken, the first dealership was Nissan. I believe he actually worked for a Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. Either way, I'm not going to name my brother, but I will name the dealerships because they seem to not have any decommissioning processes whatsoever, and I'm having to decommission their computers instead of them. Yeah, anyway. So luckily, I've personally got to the point where I don't care. I just see how big the hard drive is, how big the memory is, if it even boots up, what kind of CPU it's got, and then I turn them into whatever I personally need within what the desktop has. So the one with the blue screen on it now is going to be my file server, or not my file server, but my web server, and maybe like a temporary squid proxy server. But either way, the point of this video was that, or actually is that, dealerships or any business that's getting rid of be it desktop, laptops, any kind of computer whatsoever, there needs to be a decommissioning process. And as far as I know, there's only two places that I know of that has a decommissioning process. One's a little obsessive or excessive, but it still works. The other one, well, it just depends. But anyway, see, OSU Omogi, as far as I understand, I don't know if they still do it now or not, but what they do is they take the hard drives, and I believe they take the RAM. I'm not sure. It's been a while. I mean, literally, I don't know, maybe about 7-8 years since I've actually been on campus to know all this stuff, and they could have been. It actually can. It probably was most likely changed since then. But that's what they actually used to do when I was a student there, and when it came to auctioning off hardware and stuff like that they had, you'd actually have to get the RAM and hard drive, and everything else would be just fine because they'd leave the power supply, the motherboard, video card if they have it. I think they leave them in there. Now that, in a way, can be what I would consider excessive, but hey, it works. It's a decommissioning process. It means that none of the stuff that's on those hard drives is going to go out in the world because they're not even leaving campus. But now, the other place that I know of is the West Watkins Technology Center. I still call it a VOTEC. They can shoot me all they want. But the way they did their decommissioning process, again, this could change because it's been a while since I've even been there, and they actually would use Darren's Boot Nuke. But what they did is I actually had it on a floppy back when they actually had a floppy version. But they don't make a floppy version anymore. Actually, no, I take that back. They actually ended up having to use flop to boot it up to make it where it ghosted. Either way, they would actually use Darren Boot Nuke. They would actually use the software I am using to wipe the hard drives before they decommissioned their computers. So, again, I didn't mean to make this a rambling video. I didn't mean to make this a ranting video. But car dealerships, or any business, I know I probably said this once before and I'll say it again, need to have a decommissioning process when it comes to computers. You cannot just let them go, because eventually there'll be some people like myself that could root around and find all the lovely and wonderful data if they're so graciously trying to look for it. See, I stopped looking after the first time this happened because I ended up getting like a whole music library, and boy, oh boy, that was pretty interesting music too. But anyway, I digress. So, with that being said, don't have too much fun, or at the very least, try not to.